Kadosh Boker Or Masechet Gittin Shavua Tov Masechet Gittin Daf Masechta Amud Aleph 48a1. We were just speaking about now the entire concept, right? And Rabbi Yochanan is going to come. It was stated like this: the was stated Amocher Sadeu Izman sheYovel Noheg. If you're going to sell your field during the time the Yovel is going to be Noheg, Rabbi Yochanan comes and he says Mevi veKoreh. Shakish comes and he says Mevi veEno Koreh. You're going to bring it and you're not going to read it. Rabbi Yochanan comes and he says Mevi veKoreh Kinyan Perot. Kinyan Aguf Tami. The Kinyan Perot is like Kinyan Aguf, right? The Shakish comes and he says, you're going to bring it and you're not going to read it. Kinyan Perot lav ki Kinyan Aguf Tami. But Kinyan Perot is not considered Kinyan Haguf. Okay? Utsricha. And you need it. The itmar be'ahi, because if you're going to come and you're going to tell me that it's in that case, be'ahi kamar Shakish, that there it's going to be in the Shakish, techikanachit, right? That when you're going to go down to the field, adaita de peira kanachit. What does that mean? He comes and he says, when you go down and you're going to acquire it, you're acquiring it for the fruits. Aval behach, but in the case that you're going to sell the field during the time of Yovel, you're only buying it for the body of the field. You're not buying it for the fruits, right? Because you can't benefit from the fruits of during Yovel. So Imam Rabbi Yochanan, I would say that he agrees to Rabbi Yochanan.
How can you concentrate?
Right? The itmar. Now, if you're going to tell me that machloket is going to be in this case, in this case is where Rabbi Yochanan comes and he says that the kinyan of the gufa sadeh, why? Because you're going down to acquire the actual goof, right, until the yovel. But in the case that basically you're only selling it for the fruits, maybe Rabbi Yochanan agrees to Resh Lakish that it's not considered gufa sadeh, and that's why you need both cases. So now we're going to try to bring a proof to Rabbi Yochanan. Remember, there's a machloke between Rabbi Yochanan and Resh Lakish. Do we say that Kinyan Perot is like Kinyan Aguf or not? So Tashema, we're going to try to bring a proof. Hakore akone ilam vekarkao. If you acquire a tree and it's ground, Nevi vekores, you're going to bring the bikurim and you're going to read it. Now, even though all the field does not belong to you, right, and it goes back to the field, to the guy during the Yovel, it's still considered kinyan gufa karka and you read perashat bikurim. So says the Gemara, with is one shana yovel noheg, only if there's no yovel. So fine, let's bring another proof. Tashema, we're going to try to bring another proof. If you're going to purchase 2 trees in the field of your friend, you're going to bring it, you're not going to read it. Hashlosha, but if you have 3 trees, you're going to bring it and you're going to read it. Says the Gemara, Chanami also bizman shena yovel noheg. We're talking about where the yovel is not going to be noheg. Hashta damar Rav Chasta. Now that Rav Chasta comes and he says machloket, yovel sheni is only talking about where they came and they were counting the years, right, towards the next yovel, right, from the second yovel onwards when they came into Israel. Why? Because then they already knew from the first yovel that you give back the fields. So then Resh Lakish comes and he says that when you're going to purchase a field, it's considered that you only purchase the fruits and not more than that. But yovel Rishon the first time around, according to everybody, you still don't have the smichut da'at that it's coming back to you, right? Which means like this: people have to accustom to something. So comes the first yovel, and until then, people weren't accustomed that I just bought a field and I have to give it back. It's like, like a lease for 99 years. And then by the time a person thinks about it, he's not even going to be alive. Maybe it's for his children and maybe even his grandchildren. You understand? But it's going to be for 50 years. It's much shorter. So now the thing is, though, that they're not accustomed to it. But after the second time onwards, they already know. You bought a field, it goes back in your bed. Right? But the first time around, it's not that simple. So says the Gemara, Lakashia, it's not going to be a question. Have yovel rishon, have yovel sheni. One's the first yovel, one is the second yovel. So says the Gemara, Lema katanai. Why don't we just say it's a machloket tanaim? What's a machloket tanaim? Minayin lelokeach sadeh me'aviv. How do we know that if you took a field, you purchased a field from your father, v'ikdisha, and you consecrated it, right? Ve'achar kach met aviv, and afterwards the father went and he died. Minayin sheteh lefanav kisnei achuzah. How do we know that it's going to be suckered? That means if you don't redeem it, right, then what happens is it goes out by Yovel to the Kohanim. Tamulomar, im etzedeh mikanato shalom kisnei achuzato. Sadeh she'eno ruya liot sadeh achuzah. Which means like this. One more time. What are we talking about exactly? You took a field from your father. Now your father came and he consecrated it. When you consecrate something, who does it belong to?
Hektish.
Hektish. Who belongs to Hektish? What is
Kohanim, they're gonna
the
get
Kohanim? The Kohanim, they get it. So now what happens is the father comes, right, and he passes away. So now by passing it away, right, it now becomes a sdei achuzah to the child, okay, which means it becomes like he just yarshened it. He got a Yerusha. So how do we know now that if he doesn't redeem it, right, and the Gizbar comes, which is the Gabbai, he comes and he sells it to somebody else, how do we know that it goes out to the Kohanim? So it says, because since it says, it cannot be sdei achuzato. What does that mean? Why? Sdei achuzato is like extra. We already know that if it's sdei miknato, you purchased it. That's it. So what does it come and teach you? But it says, which means during the time of the Ekdesh, it couldn't have been yours, right? So therefore, this field was fitting for you to inherit it during the time of the Ekdesh was done. So therefore, it does not have the deen of sadeh mikneh, but rather deen of sadeh achuzah. And therefore, if the father dies and he inherits it, if the Gizbar comes and he sells it, it does go to the Kohanim, right? Yovel. It doesn't go back to this guy. It goes to the Kohanim. Why? Because the father consecrated it. These are the words of Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon. However, though, Rabbi Meir comes and he says, here it says, during the time of the Hekdesh, it was already a sadeh mikneh, which means you already came and you bought it. So even after the Hekdesh, you were yoresh the zechuyot, you inherited these merits. So it comes out that you came and you already inherited from your father. And therefore, it's not as din of sadeh mikneh, but rather din sadeh mechuzah, which means like this. What was the difference? The difference was that here, you inherited it before you bought it from your father. You inherited it. So therefore, it's different. In the other case, you bought it from your father, and then your father came and he consecrated it. And then the father passed away. Here, it's a little bit different. So he says, he says, in this case, where first the father died, and then he consecrated it, you don't need a pasuk. So my lava is that not the machloket? That according to Rabbi Meir, he holds kinyan perot is like kinyan aguftami. And therefore, the fact that when the father dies, right, he doesn't inherit anything. Which means even though during the lifetime of the father, it was in the hand of the son, right? Only b'torah kinyan perot, because during the time of the Yovel, right? Nohegi atida lachzor laviv b'Yovel. Nevertheless, since it's considered knuya leben legamre b'chayaviv, it comes out of mitat aviv, and he doesn't inherit anything, right? So he comes and he says, Hilkach therefore met aviv v'achak ikdisha tzarich kra. He comes and he says, if right now the father passes away, then afterwards they come and they consecrate it, you need a pasuk. Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon Savli, Kinyan Perol, Kinyan Aguftami. Ubeha, and in this case, Bemitat Aviv, here and now you're going to inherit it with the death of the father. And therefore, Met Aviv, if the father dies and then they come and they consecrate it, you don't need a pasuk. So when do you need a pasuk? When you consecrated it, and then afterwards the father passed away. So Amar of Nachman ben Yitzchak says of Nachman ben Yitzchak, really I'm going to tell you, Be'alma Kasavra, usually we hold, Rabbi Yehuda ben Shimon, that Kinyan Perot is like Kinyan Aguf. Meaning when you have the fruits is everything. The fruits is like the body of the field. So Lichtov Rachman, so then the Pasuk should say, Im etzdim Tito Shelo Tzedei Achuzato. Why does mis Tzedei Achuzato? Sadeh she'ena ruya liot Tzedei Achuzah, yatzadu sheruya liot Tzedei Achuzah. Here it is fitting to be a Tzedei Achuzah. So Amar of Yosef says of Yosef, he loved Amar Rabbi Yochanan. If Rabbi Yochanan wouldn't have said Kinyan Perot is considered Kinyan Aguftami, Lo Matzah Yadav Reglam Bet HaMidrash, he wouldn't find his hands in the Bet HaMidrash. Amar Rabbi Yasi, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Achin Shechalku Lekuchoten Umachzirin Zel Hazeh B'Yovel. Do you know that when a person passes away and he has two children, and those two children divide the fields, they are considered purchasers. They're not considered inheritors. So by Yovel, they have to return it to the pot and take it again. Which is very interesting, no? Because now, you put it back in the thing, now divide it again. Okay? The Yisal Kadan, you're going to tell me, Lav ki kinyan guf tami, that is considered kinyan guf, lo mashkach adamay bikurim, so then they can never bring bikurim. Elachad bar chad, right? Only a yoresh yachid, ben a yoresh yachid, until Yoshua binu. Meaning the second that there's going to be more than one brother, you can never bring bikurim. Because it always has to be a single son, to a single son, to a single, because the second that there's going to be two, it belongs to both of them. And if you're going to tell me kinyan perot is not kinyan guf, nobody ever belongs the body of the fruit. So you can never bring bikurim. How does that work? How does that work?
This is very complicated, Rabbi.
Amar Rava comes and he says, Kra umatznita mesayle. There's a pasuk in a Braita that's a proof to Resh Lakish. Kra, the pasuk is Memchet Amubet 48b, b'mispar shenet tevuot im kolach, which is mashma from this pasuk that it sold only the tevuot of the shanim until Yovel, but not the actual land. Meaning from the pasuk in itself, it's mashma that when you buy a piece of land, it's only for the actual fruits. It's not more than that. Matznita and the Braita, the time was learned the Braita, Bechor notel pishnayim basadeh chozeret lavi biyovev. Do you know that a Bechor, he's going to take pishnayim in a field that goes back to his father during Yovel, which means if the father came and he sold the field and he passes away, when it comes back during the Yovel, the Bechor still takes double portion, right? Now, what does that mean? Now, even though the din is the Bechor only takes double portion in something that is muhzak, during the time, that means he's got a chazakah on it during the time of the death. But anything which is not muhzak, the Bechor doesn't take pishnayim. So it comes out that the fact that the goof of the karka ki'ilu still belongs to the father, that's why the Bechor could take double portion. Everyone understood? Like this. A Bechor takes double portion. Everyone knows that. But a Bechor only takes double portion in something which the father is muhzak and not ra'ui. Muhzak means that he's got possession of it right now. Not something that might come later on.
IOUs.
Right. It's certain IOUs or certain things that ki'ilu that it's going to be. So therefore, what he's trying to say is that right now. No, Hekdesh is not his at all. It's not his at all. But for example, if we're talking about something that maybe the father will make money later on. It was a dividend or something that doesn't, the Bechor cannot take Pishnayim. Because it has to be something that he has now, not something that might come in the future. So here, if he says that you're going to take double portion, the Bechor is going to take double portion in this land, one second, but the father sold it. It's not his. It's coming back to him in Yovel. No, but that means that the body of the land still belongs to the father. So that's why the Bechor could still take double portion. Meaning that even though he sold the land, the purchaser only gets the fruits. The real body of the land belongs to who? To the owner, to the original owner. This is going back to him. Rabbi says also, do you know that a husband in the property of the wife, he needs arshah, he needs like a permission, right? That if he wants to come and he wants to do anything to do with the body of the field. Because if not, he doesn't stand a chance. Meaning he does not have anything, right? He doesn't own it, nothing. Okay? And we didn't say this, only if we didn't go down for the fruits. If we go down for the fruits, the fact that he gets the fruits, so then he could also go on the gufa karka even without harsha'a. Hadran alach hasholeach. We just finished this chapter. Now we're starting the Mishnah on Memchet Amubet 48b. Says the Mishnah, Hanizakin shamin lahen beidit, which means when we're going to come and we're going to compensate people or property that was damaged, we're always going to assess something which is called idit. Idit is the superior land. Ubalachov bebenoni, the creditors, right, which means because of a debt, is always the average land. Uktubat isha, and the ketubah of a woman is ziburit, with an inferior land, which means the lowest category of land. Which means, you've got, like Surfside, you understand? Then you've got, for example, Hollywood or North Miami Beach. And then afterwards you have, Hollywood or Cooper City or all these other places. You understand? You've got the Idit, the Benonit, and the Ziburit. Okay? Fine. Rabbi Meir says, no, even Ketubat Isha is also going to be Benonit. Next, creditors cannot exact payment from a debtor's encumbered properties, which means you cannot pay back from a field that already has a lien. If they have fields that do not have any liens. Meaning, if you have a field that has a lien, the lien is to the bank, and you have a field that is free, you cannot take the one that belongs to the bank, because that one is designated for the bank. You take the one that has no debts. Okay? If it is going to be ziburit. Next halacha, you only take from the orphans, from the inferior lands. Okay? Next one, you can never take out for whether it's going to be eating fruits or for the appreciation of the land or for mazoni yishava banot, for the food for the women and children, from properties which are going to be meshubadin subject, right? Meaning like that has a lien because of tikkun haolam. If you're going to find the lost property, lo yishava, you don't need to swear because of tikkun haolam. You're going to swear that, this is what you found, that you didn't take anything, this, that. You don't have to swear. Okay, we're going to speak about obviously every single case. Says the Gemara, what is mipnei tikkun haolam? He says, what does that mean? That this is talking about now, right? Is this the Rabbanan? Doraita. This is Doraita. It says in the pasuk, meitav sadeu. When you come and you damage someone, you have to pay him meitav sadeu, from the best of your field. Meitav kamor, for the best of your vineyard. Right? Yishalem, you have to pay it. So what are you telling me now that this is like tikkun haolam? This is Doraita, you have to pay for the best. So Rabbi says, Rabbi Ishmael, right? We're only needing this for Rabbi Ishmael. The Rabbi says, Midoraita v'nizak shamina. Midoraita, we're going to assess everything in the land, in the term of the properties of the damaged properties. Nizak. Kamashmalan comes teach you, because of tikkun haolam, shavir v'mazik, we're going to assess the superior, the damager's properties. Okay, so therefore, according to Ishmael, the Mishnah's ruling is indeed it's a tikkun haolam. Everyone understood. There's the damager and damagee. Damager is the one that's doing the damage. Mazik. The nizak is the one that's getting the damage. Midoraita, he says we're going to be benizak. Let's say misken, somebody came and they damaged the poor person. So that means we're only going to evaluate in his fields. So his best field is a klum. So therefore, we go by the one that damages. His best field. So my Rabbi Ishmael, what does Rabbi Ishmael learn this from though? Tanya was learned to write Metav Sadeu, Metav Kamon Yishalem. Metav Sadeu Shel Nizak, Metav Kamon Shel Nizak. These are the words of Rabbi Ishmael. Rabbi Kiva says, Lo ba ketuvela livo min nizikim min idit. Right? The Kavachom Legdesh, that you're always going to collect from idit. And Kavachom, you're going to collect, right, for Egdesh also from the idit. The Gemara is going to explain what we just mentioned now in this Gemara. Rabbi Ishmael, but according to Rabbi Ishmael, if you eat some big fat, if the animal came and eat a big fat piece of vegetables, you should pay back the big. But if you eat small, then small. So what are we dealing with? You ate something in between the rows, but we don't know what did he eat. Did he eat the big fat fruits or the skinny ones? That he's going to pay back the best. So Rabbi says, that he came and ate from the weak ones. But now that we don't know, you're going to pay back the rich one. So Rabbi asks, why don't you just bring a proof? Meaning like this: you come, right, and you damage me. I'm going to come in and say you damaged my best part of the field. If we don't have a proof, you can just tell me, bring me a proof. Bring me a proof.
That is the best part of the proof.
Yeah. Bring me a proof that this is the best part of the field. You have to bring me a proof, right? Why? In order to come and take out the money. So Amar Rabbi Yaakov says, Rabbi Yaakov, you're right. Ella, but rather, on the top, what are we dealing with? Right? He says, that each one, meaning the idit of the nizak, was the worst of the mazik. Meaning the one that got damaged was very, very poor. So his best field is the worst field of the mazik. Right? So he says, right, Rabbi Ishmael Sabab Nizak Shaymina. Rabbi Kiva Sabab Mazik Shaymina. And therefore there's going to be a machloket. Do we go after the nizak or the mazik? The damager or the damagee? I won't